My name is Randy Potts. I'm the Chief Information Security Officer for Real-Time Resolutions. When I was doing my original analysis of what tools to use, I was looking at 4 or 5 different tools and really thinking I was going to need a combination of 2 or 3. enSilo allowed me to cover forensics, next-gen AV, ransomware prevention, numerous different areas where I was going to look at getting a separate EDR tool, a separate forensics tool, a separate next-gen AV. enSilo does it all in one. We had seen some of the early phases of ransomware going back to CryptoWall, CryptoLocker, and then in early 2016, we had actually seen the very early variants of Locky ransomware coming out. And we very quickly realized that the traditional antivirus tools we had weren't sufficient to block that threat. Some of the problems that enSilo helped us solve from the start was really with that ransomware. We saw immediately with that tool, as opposed to some of the other tools that are out there on the market, that it did a really good job right out of the box of stopping a variety of different threats. enSilo has a very interesting approach to endpoint security and the way they do security. Really sets them apart from the rest of the industry because what they're doing is deploying a very lightweight, low-touch agent to the endpoint that simply sits really at the kernel level. I like to think of it somewhat as like the good guy's rootkit because it's sitting at that low level of the operating system, simply watching what goes on. It does this without hooking every single process. It does it without creating a lot of overhead on all of the processes that are running on a system. And so it's simply sitting there at the kernel level, see something suspicious, a file write, communication out, access to another service, and it simply interrupts that communication. Very simple, very straightforward. The thing that's great about enSilo when they talk about pre and post infection is they are doing something throughout the kill chain. And so what's really interesting about enSilo, and especially working with their malware research team, is we will get an event because it's blocked a malicious file, executable, whatever it is, from doing a suspicious behavior. If we then take that same behavior that was blocked and allow it to run out, while just kind of having enSilo in a monitoring mode, we then get a really great picture of all the places where enSilo would have blocked this malicious activity. Deploying enSilo is really straightforward. The installer is less than 2 megabytes, so it makes for a very lightweight package to get out there. In our particular environment, we run mostly virtualized, including our desktops and our servers. So it made it very easy. We deployed enSilo to those master images, and so it was at the base of the install for everything, and very quickly got out and covered all of our endpoints in our environment. In total, enSilo might take 1/10 of an FTE out of my team. Very lightweight, very easy to deploy, very easy to maintain. That 1/10 of an FTE is really just managing the alerts that come out of enSilo, and since it blocks things, they're not very urgent because of the way it blocks things. It's not breaking an end user. They're still able to function and work. We don't have to make it a high priority to try to get them back up and functioning again. It blocks it. We do our forensic process working with enSilo and then determine if we need to escalate to help desk to actually remove any sort of software from an endpoint. enSilo makes that incredibly easy too because they will remove an entire executable if we want their tool to do that. Preventing a breach is my #1 priority. enSilo helps me with that immensely because of the way it is blocking all of those suspicious behaviors that are going on, while at the same time allowing the business to continue to be productive. And that's probably the biggest advantage out of enSilo. It allows me both to have a great confidence that we're doing everything we can to prevent a breach, while at the same time making sure that the security tool is not going to cause any productivity hits.